All right, guys, Chavez here. We're gonna complete this one, particle motion part 2. So we just have this last free response question left. So let's get it out of the way. Let me put this on tablet mode really quick. There we go. So particle moves along the x-axis position at time t given by. So this is movement in the x direction. I'm either moving left or right, and I'm in this closed interval, 0 to 2 pi. Find the time find the time t at which the particle is furthest to the left. Justify your answer. This is perfect for the candidates test, guys. So we're gonna do a candidates test for position, and when are you furthest left? Well, whenever your magnitude is negative, the larger negative magnitude. So that's when you're furthest left. So we're gonna test our endpoints, and we're gonna test our critical numbers. So here we go. I'm gonna find velocity first. So velocity is the derivative of position. So we're going to have to do a product rule. Here's one, here's another. So first, e to the negative t times derivative of the second. The derivative of sine t is cosine t. Plus second, sine t, times derivative of the first. Negative e to the negative t. So let's see, what are we going to do? Factoring out e to the negative t, you're going to have cosine t minus, because this negative stays there, minus sine t. Setting this equal to 0. This is an exponential. E to the negative t is never 0, but cosine t minus sine t will be 0. So just a little bit of pre-count, not too much. You are 0 at pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. T equals pi over 4. T equals 5 pi over 4. So those are the values we're going to check. We're going to check those two. And if you wanted to, you can find where your velocity goes from negative to positive, and that's probably going to be where your absolute furthest left is. But we still have to check our endpoint. So let's go ahead and create a table here. So I'm going to call t for time and x of t. So 0 is first, and then pi over 4 is second. And then we're going to test 5 pi over 4. And then finally, we're going to test 2 pi. So let's see. If I plug in 0, x of 0 is just e to the 0 sine 0. E to the 0 is 1, but sine of 0 is 0, so you get 0. All right, let's do the 2 pi next, guys, because those are pretty easy to do. E to the 2 pi. So e to the negative 2 pi, who knows what that is? That is some number. We don't care about that number. Sine of 2 pi, well, sine of 2 pi is 0 again, so 0. All right, now let's do pi over 4. X of pi over 4, e to the negative pi over 4, sine of pi over 4, sine of pi over 4, sine, that's going to be a positive number because that's square root of 2 over 2. So let's see, square root of 2 over 2, e to the negative pi over 4. So that's some positive number. Square root of 2 over 2, e to the negative pi over 4. So that's to the right of the origin, or to the right of 0. Let me do x of 5 pi over 4. X of 5 pi over 4. E to the negative 5 pi over 4, which is in magnitude, well, who knows what that number is. But we know what this number is, sine of 5 pi over 4. That's going to be a negative, guys. Negative square root of 2 over 2, e to the negative 5 pi over 4. This e to the negative 5 pi over 4 is always positive. But because I have a negative in the front, that means the whole expression is negative. Or the number is negative. So this one's negative. So you're furthest left at 5 pi over 4. So I'm going to write a statement. Where can I fit it? I'm going to fit it right here in this blank space. Furthest left at t equals 5 pi over 4. You might be able to make a justification. Oh, this is my justification here. That's the only one that's negative, guys. You might be able to make a justification for velocity changing from negative to positive. But that might be kind of hard to prove, or, you got to be very careful with how you say it. So I think this is probably the ideal way, guys, or the best way. So there's my table. And that's it. You're done with that. All right, let's go to the next one. Find the value of the constant a for which x of t satisfies the equation. So I just want to satisfy this equation. That's all I want to do. So I already know what x of t is. X of t is, where are you? There. So x of t is e to the negative t with its sine t, sine t. I already know what the first derivative is because I have it right here. So x prime of t is e to the negative t cosine of t minus sine of t. Now I need the second derivative, guys. So here we go. I'm going to put it right here in this corner here. X prime prime of t. And I'm just going to do this. Product rule. First, times the derivative of the second. The derivative of a cosine is a negative sine. And the derivative of a sine is cosine. Plus second, cosine t minus sine t. Times the derivative of the first, negative e to the negative t. So there it is. And let's see, what can we factor out? Let's factor out e to the negative t. E to the negative t. And if I do that, I'm going to have negative sine t minus cosine t. Let's see, I'm going to leave that negative there. Minus cosine t plus sine t. So if I do that, these sine t's cancel out, and I have two of these. I hope I didn't make any mistake. So let's see. E to the negative t, parenthesis. I'm going to put the negative in, well, it's fine. Negative 2 cosine of t. All right, so now I have everything ready to go, and I'm going to put it together, guys. So I'm going to write a x prime prime of t plus x prime of t plus x of t equals 0. So I'm going to write a, and then parenthesis, I'm going to write all this. E to the negative t. Oh, you know what? Let's put it all together. Negative 2 e to the negative t cosine t, and then plus, and then x prime, where are you? Right there. So I'm going to write e to the negative t cosine t minus sine t plus e to the negative t sine t. All that equals 0. And I can see, I guess I could have written negative 2a. Man, I can't even talk. I can see that I can factor out e to the negative t on all of them. So let's see, cosine, cosine, sine. Yeah, let's do that. E to the negative t. And now I'm going to have negative 2 cosine t. Let's see, negative 2 cosine t plus cosine t minus sine t plus sine t. Okay, I still don't see any mistakes. So here's what I see. These cancel out, and I see, so e to the negative t, negative, oh, and there's an a. How come you guys didn't tell me? That a goes right there. Let's see. Okay, so I have negative 2a cosine t plus cosine t. I almost did the mistake of adding these guys up without putting that a in there. Equals 0. I'm going to factor out the cosine t. E to the negative t cosine t, parenthesis negative 2a plus 1 equals 0. So we can't do anything about this, guys, because I guess cosine t equals 0 in many locations, but we're trying to solve for a. So focus on this. So if negative 2a plus 1 equals 0, that means that negative 2a equals negative 1. So that means a must equal a half. And there it is, guys. I hope that made sense. Let me know if you enjoyed this one. And I think we're good, guys. Yay, happy face. Hook me up with a thumbs up if you can, guys. And I hope you liked it. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And yeah, so let me start in the next video. And here we go, guys.